Hey everyone! So today we're going to talk about something you probably think you already know all about gratitude. But I want you to forget the simple, polite thank yous for just a minute. We're going to look at gratitude as a powerful, scientifically backed tool, one that can genuinely transform your well being and even your professional life. Ready? Let's get into it. So let me start with this question. What if well being, feeling good, being resilient, performing at your best, what if that wasn't just about luck or your personality? What if it was a skill that you could actually learn and practice, just like any other? Well, according to modern science, it absolutely is. And a huge piece of that skill, you guessed it, it's gratitude. Okay, so we really need to redefine what we're talking about here. This isn't just about feeling thankful when something good happens. No, positive psychology and even neuroscience now see gratitude as a real competence, a skill you can build that produces tangible, observable effects on your life and your work. Now, this is where it gets really interesting. The psychological definition is super specific. It's a three-step process. First, you have to actually recognize that something good happened. Second, you have to connect it to something outside of yourself, another person, your team, maybe even just your environment. And third, and this is the real kicker, you accept that this good thing wasn't a guarantee. It wasn't owed to you. That's the magic formula right there. And when you practice those three steps, something pretty amazing happens. Your focus starts to shift. It moves away from just yourself, your own problems, and your own wins, and it moves towards your connection with other people and the world around you. You're literally training your brain to see what's working and what's adding value, instead of just dwelling on all the problems. So you might be thinking, okay, that sounds nice, but does it actually work? Well, the research is incredibly clear on this. Practicing gratitude isn't some fluffy, feel-good exercise. It has proven benefits that work on a bunch of different levels all at once. Let's break down the four big ones. First up, your mind. A regular gratitude practice is directly linked to a stable, long-term improvement in your mood and your overall satisfaction with life. It also helps quiet down that endless loop of negative thoughts that we can all get stuck in. You know, that mental rumination? Gratitude helps break that cycle. And what's really amazing is how this mental practice has real physical effects. I mean, studies show that people who practice gratitude get better, more restorative sleep. Their body's internal rhythms become more stable. They even see a drop in psychosomatic symptoms. We're talking about things like stress headaches or stomach issues. It's a true mind-body connection. Now, for a lot of us, this is the real game changer. Practicing gratitude can actually lead to greater clarity when you're making those tough, high-stakes decisions. It provides this sustainable source of energy and determination to go after your goals. And get this, it even improves your ability to concentrate and learn new things. It's almost like a natural performance enhancer for your brain. Finally, and this might be the most important one for any team or company, it totally transforms our relationships. When gratitude is expressed openly, it just strengthens the bonds of trust and cooperation. It makes people more likely to want to help each other out, which kicks off these awesome positive feedback loops. You thank someone, they feel valued, and then they're more likely to pay it forward. That's how you build an amazing culture. Okay, so we've covered the why. We know it works, but how do you actually do it? How do you make it a real habit? Well, the key is to be intentional and consistent. This isn't about big, grand gestures. It's all about small, repeated practices that eventually build into a really powerful habit. Here are three simple, scientifically backed ways to get started. First, a daily reflection. Super easy. At the end of your day, just take a minute to identify three positive things that happened. Second, be intentional when you say thanks. Don't just mumble it. Be specific and authentic about what you're thankful for and why. And third, if you're in a leadership position, bring your team in on it. Invite them to share these practices. That's how you turn a personal habit into a core part of your culture. And that's a perfect segue into leadership. Because when a leader practices and models gratitude, the impact just gets amplified across the entire organization. This isn't some soft skill or a nice to have. It's actually a core part of being a truly effective leader. I absolutely love this quote from the source material. Notice it doesn't say gratitude replaces technical skills. It says it amplifies them. It's a performance multiplier. It turns a good leader into a great one by giving them this powerful tool for managing emotions and relationships, especially when things get stressful. So what does that actually look like in practice? Well, grateful leaders tend to stay clear-headed under pressure. They create an environment of psychological safety where people feel comfortable enough to speak up and take smart risks. And when you have that,
you naturally get higher engagement and a deep sense of trust within the team. Okay, so if gratitude and well-being are so beneficial, how does a whole organization make it happen on a large scale? You can't just leave it to chance. And this is where a really interesting, strategic new role is starting to emerge: the Chief Happiness Officer. I mean, think about it. Who is actually responsible for taking these amazing ideas from the science of happiness and making them a daily reality inside a company? Who designs the entire ecosystem so that people can actually thrive? Well, that person is the Chief Happiness Officer, or CHO. And let's be clear, their job isn't about planning office parties. They are architects. Their role is to strategically design the environment, the systems, and the culture that allow people to work in a way that is both healthy and sustainable for the long haul. A chief well-o works across the whole company, weaving well-being into its very fabric. They look at the culture. Are we promoting connection, or are we just burning people out? They dig into the processes. Do our daily workflows actually support focus and collaboration? They help develop leadership skills like empathy and gratitude. And crucially, they establish metrics. Because as we all know, what gets measured gets managed. They make well-being an intentional, measurable part of the business strategy. So the bottom line is this: gratitude is a choice. It is a skill we can build in ourselves, in our teams, and across our entire organizations. And that leaves us with one final question to really think about. As an individual and as part of a team, what are you choosing to recognize and value starting today?